Morning, everyone. Morning. I think I can see that everyone's sort of trickling in from the waiting room there. Thank you for bearing with us. I know we were a couple minutes behind. Thank you for joining us. So this morning we'll be discussing understanding your extended marketing team and workplace productivity. For those of you that don't know who I am quickly, my name is Molly and I'm the event coordinator here at Kenton Literature Chamber. Just quickly before I hand over to Steve, a couple housekeeping rules. If you can please keep your cameras on if possible, your microphones on mute, and use the chat functions if you have any questions. Today's session will be recorded as well, just in case you want to catch up with anything afterwards. And I believe we will be handing out the slides as well. So thank you very much, and I will hand over to Steve.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I am now going to share my screen. So I can see that I think there's about 20 or so of you on the call, and no doubt others will join us, hopefully. So my name is Steve Nash, and I run a project management consultancy, which consists of myself, and I've got a few clients that I deliver services for, predominantly project management services. And also any help they require in setting up or reviewing their operations. So that's me, that's my mug. Good morning to you, and thanks very much for having faith in spending time with me for an hour to go through some few slides. I hope that you pick up a couple of nuggets or pick up some advice that I offer. A lot of you probably know a majority of what I'm going to say, but some of you might not. So I wanted to touch on a couple of things. One is your extended marketing team, and the other one is creating a productive working environment for all. Initially, I've done the extended marketing team before, and I've been asked very proudly by the Chamber of Commerce to return. So I obviously didn't do a bad thing the first time round. But I wanted to add in creating a productive working environment for all, because it was only when I went through the slides in the previous session that it pretty much covers a whole spectrum of things within the workplace, not just your extended marketing team. To actually get access to your extended marketing team and to understand your extended marketing team, you've got to create a productive working environment for all. So I've just rolled it into one. So without further ado, I'll start and go through the first set of slides. So I like to pick up, there's loads of these around, inspirational quotes. I like to pick a couple every now and again. So the first one there is: coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success, which is all about our businesses. I think it splits into three different sections: the extended marketing team that you have. So as well as having, if you're a large or SME or large business, you might have your own marketing team and your own sales team that obviously put the marketing together for your business, and then a team that go out and sell it for you. The thing is that you have a much bigger extended marketing team available to you. You have your staff, first of all, who they get up every morning, they come to work, they know pretty much a lot about your business, they then leave the office. How do you get them to go that extra mile? How do you make them become your extended marketing team? How do you make them think about your business and be proud to be in your business? How many of them have got an extended network behind them? Families, friends, people they used to work for, suppliers they used to engage with, colleagues. Are they in, do they have needs and requirements that maybe the business they currently work in can offer? There's supply chain. Most people buy something from someone in their procurement and supply chain, and that's the extent of the relationship. You should explore that. Supply chain have an extended network behind them. They have other clients. They get to know other clients. They get to know the needs of other clients. What's to say that if you built a relationship with your supply chain and made them integral into your business and went that extra mile with them, that they might not see an opportunity with one of their other clients that's a synergy, warm introductions, etc. And the last thing, and probably the most important thing, clients. You've already got clients. You've already got people that you deliver brilliant services to. Okay, don't just deliver the service. You're all right. Yeah, I'm fine. Great. Go that extra mile to make them integral within your business. You are only as good as your client base. Okay, you can have a fantastic product, but if you don't support it properly, you don't support your clients, you don't support your supply chain, you don't support your staff, then there's a risk of failing. And why? Those people are in front of you. They're working with you. They're giving their time to you. They're buying their services from you. They're selling their services to you. As you can tell, it's something that I'm quite passionate about. So I'm going to touch on these 3 items and go through what I think you should probably consider when engaging with staff, supply chain and clients. So I've just put there, understand and embrace your network, as there is nothing more powerful than referrals. Everyone has a wider network. You simply do not know who knows who. Be creative, demonstrate initiative, and identify your extended sales and marketing team who can work for you. After all, they're free resource. So if I start with staff, okay, all staff have their own network of friends, family, ex-works colleagues, ex-employees, and you simply do not know who they know. So if you were to manage, develop, and mentor your staff, make them really integral within your business, they could be more influential to your business than you would ever expect. Ask yourself a question. I'm sure you do, but do you support, develop, mentor, encourage, and acknowledge your staff to incentivize them? How do you do that? And you might think that you're incentivizing them, but what's the feedback they give you about how they're incentivized? Do you ask them that question? And do you just simply wait every year when you do the appraisal and then just as a tick box, just ask them that question? Or is it something you do piecemeal throughout the year with them? Are you positive that all staff have a good level of understanding and awareness of all the products and services that your business offers? I once worked for a company that had 150 staff, and typically everyone had a small bit of foundation knowledge of the products and services that the company could offer. Typically, the product manager knew everything. The operations manager and team, they knew everything. Of course they did. The sales team had a good idea. The marketing team had a good idea. But people like logistics and HR and deployment and, to a certain extent, engineering, and everyone throughout your organization, what is the level of understanding they have of the products that you sell? Do you only make sure that the marketing team know? Do you only make sure the sales team know? Or do you make sure that maybe the person on reception is aware? The person that runs the facilities of the building, are they aware? Can you confidently say that you understand the culture, challenges, dependencies and priorities for each department and member of staff? So really drilling down into each member of staff that work for you, or ensuring that their line manager does that, but ensuring that what's their own personal strategy within the business? What's their own personal mission statement and vision? Where do they want to be? Do they understand the wheel and the cog that they are within your business? Who's dependent on them? Who they are dependent on? What the culture is within your business? How people communicate? What are the challenges in department, interdepartment? Okay, do you really understand that? Or do you only get involved when something goes wrong? Okay, rather than when something could be mitigated from going wrong and go right in the first place. It's your job to do that. So here's just a few nuggets here that I wanted to advise. So first and foremost, listen to your staff and be seen to be listening. Listen to them. Let them look at you and say, that person is actually listening to me. Manager, most of it, just because you've got an R at the end, is manage. So manage your staff, manage their expectations, listen to them. Understand the challenges and priorities and culture within your company. Develop and mentor your staff. So you could have a mentor, you could have a member of staff that's been in the organization for quite a while. They have a good understanding of the business and they're flying high within the company. You could have someone that's struggling. Why not actually mentor them up, buddy them up, put a mentorship in place within your organization. Put a development plan in place with your staff and your teams. And don't just look at it when something's gone wrong. Don't just look at it for appraisals. Look at it frequently, have that plan, communicate that plan to them. Let them agree to that plan and let them give you feedback on that plan. I said before, provide products and service awareness throughout your organization, no matter how low the role is within the company. There is no low role within the company. Everyone plays a part. When you have a meeting and you have people turn up at reception, the person they meet, the face they see, the smile they're embraced with, that sets the tone for probably the meeting they're going to have. The facilities, if the facilities aren't there and you've booked a meeting room and the tea and the coffee and the biscuits and everything's not there, then it can kind of just set a bad tone. But just ensuring that those people that all provide a service to your business are aware of your products and services and how they can be part of your organization, I think is quite key. Ask where possible about dream referrals. If you've got 150 people and there's only 10 people that are looking for a really warm introduction into a particular marketing vertical, okay, so they want to get a warm introduction into a particular council, the economic officer for Sevenoaks Council, for example, you might not be able to just pick up the phone and talk to that person. But how do you know that someone in your organization doesn't already have that connection? And it could be that the person that's on reception is married to them. It could be that the person on reception has worked for them. It could be that your supply chain, for example, are approved suppliers. It could be that one of your staff used to work for the council or have connections into them. Staff acknowledgement and reward. If they've done something good, if they've excelled, let other people know how something can be done right. Acknowledge them. I'm not talking about a trophy or a sash that they have to walk around the office for a week. I'm talking about just some simple words, some acknowledgement, some sharing. If you have a quarterly meeting, make sure that people that have excelled, gone the extra mile, done a very small thing, they might not even know the true impact of that small thing that they've done, but you can really lift someone's spirits and bring them into the organization and make them integral into the business. It inspires them. Communication plan. Have a communication plan with all of your staff and departments. How do they talk? How do they share? How do they escalate? How do they inspire each other? How do they mentor? How do they develop? Listening posts. There's a whole raft of things. And get them to kind of agree with the communication plan and be open about the communication plan and get feedback on the communication plan. If a member of your staff has a new idea, you don't want them worrying about knocking on your door, okay, if you're in an office, or coming and being afraid and thinking that they're not in a position or that they shouldn't be raising things with you or challenging you. Be open and embrace being challenged by your staff, is what I say. Demonstrate a good business structure. Let your company know how well structured you are, how professional you are as a business, how you excel in the market with tangible case studies as to why. Why are you heads and shoulders above the rest? Let them know those inspirational words and just letting them know that they are part of a good work ethic. They are part of a good business structure will make them smile, make them feel better. How many times have you worked in a company where people don't communicate, things are not escalated, people don't talk to each other? You sit there like that and you try and get through the working day. But if you feel that you're working in a good business structure and it's your job to make sure that happens, and that it's monitored and it's measurable, then that can only be a good thing, can't it? Health and well-being framework within your business. I mean, mental health, well-being for a start. If there's a member of your staff that is behaving in a certain way that is different to how they used to behave, and it's affecting their work, don't pull them over the coals. Don't have a judgment of them. Be very, very open and maybe work with your HR team to see if there's any kind of health and well-being initiative or framework or workshops that can take place within your organization. Gone are the days when people, and I say gone are the days, I thought it was rubbish when it was first said, when people say, leave your problems at home. You can't, because if you can do that, it wasn't a problem in the first place. You bring your problems to work, unfortunately, but if you actually have a structure and a management structure that have an ear and have eyes, and you have a framework within your organization that can help people personally and professionally, it will inspire people to still work for you. And the last one on there is to have a framework to capture staff feedback. So don't let people feel that they have to be of a certain stature to come and knock at your door because you're the operations director. And they consider themselves to be a very small cog. Make sure you tell people what the framework is. Goes back to the communication plan there. And listen. And I'll tell you what, act upon the feedback. Be seen to be listening to the feedback, document the feedback, engage with that person, and be seen to be doing something about it. Otherwise, they are not going to take you seriously. So from a staff point of view, and I'm not saying I'm right, this is just my perspective, just to be very clear, my perspective. And you probably all got, I'd say most of these you've considered or you've put into operation. And maybe you've been successful with it or not. But this is just my feedback to you and what I've experienced in about 25 years. So developing a supportive understanding, encouragement and acknowledging environment for your staff, which could encourage them to go the extra mile to identify opportunities for your business is a good thing, isn't it? And we're all people. This is all about people management, okay? Clients, okay? They're pretty good, aren't they, if they're batting on your side. So the way you treat them will make a customer a walking advertisement. The way you treat your clients will make them a walking advertisement for you, a free resource. We've got Twitter now. You do something wrong, bang, it's up there telling everyone how bad you are. It's judge and jury on Twitter, isn't it? You haven't got a chance. You haven't got, you don't have any chance to defend yourself. So prior to that happening, make sure you have something in place where you can kind of engage with your clients before that actually happens. Your clients could clearly be your strongest extended sales and marketing team if you exceed expectations. Go that extra mile, deliver what you're being paid for, and you could end up with a resource, a free resource, to identify opportunities and help market your products and services. So demonstrate that you provide an optimum support framework to your clients and that you meet their expectations. So let them know how well structured you are. Embrace any criticism. Make sure that there's a feedback channel direct to you. Make sure that there's lots of service reviews. I don't mean you have a review every day, but when you do a communication plan with them, it's their plan, not your plan. And make sure that when it comes to communicating with them, you're doing it in the way that they want you to, so that you're meeting expectations. Again, if you notice, none of this is technical. It's just talking. It's just embracing. It's encouraging. What would your clients say about you if I rung them now and interviewed them? Well, what would they say? Okay, what do you think they would say? I'm not saying ring my clients, but would they refer your products and services to their wider network? Do you think they would? Okay, question to ask yourself maybe if you haven't already. Do you only contact your clients to either encourage upsell, address an escalation, or renew a contract? I have seen time and time again a sales team engage in about 4 to 5 different reasons. Number one, they're all over the client because they want the signature on a piece of paper. Embarrassingly all over the client, I might add. Then there might be an issue that's escalated above the sales team. Oh, they don't want that to happen. So they get in there and they're all over the client again, embarrassingly. They then decide that there's a hole in, you decide there's a hole in your finances. So guess what? You're going to do a big round of calls to your clients and you're going to try and fill that hole by getting them to upsell. Suddenly you're talking to them, you're all over them, embarrassingly. Suddenly they tell you that they're not renewing the contract. Oh God, heavens above. You know, we've treated them so well. Why would they do that? we're all over them again. We're taking them out to lunch. We're buying them champagne. We're offering this. We're giving discounts, etc. Embarrassingly, okay? So what I'm saying is that actually communicate a communication plan with your clients, just to do reviews, just to pick up the phone and find out what their strategy is over the next couple of years to see whether your operation can be in line with your client's strategy. When you start talking about strategies with your client, you're effectively saying, look, I'd love you to sign for the next 2 years, but there's only one way you're going to do that, and that's if you're happy and I meet expectations. And I know you can't always meet all of your clients' expectations, but bloody be seen to be trying. So here, I've said that all clients have a wider influential network. They have their own supply chain, they have their own staff, they each have their own experiences. They have their own consultants that work for other companies. They have their own clients themselves, all of which, if you provide that real personable, professional relationship with them, they might be encouraged to talk to any one of those who have an issue, to maybe talk to you, to say, well, I'm using their services, and it's a very professional, structured business that are meeting my expectations. You know what? They don't always get it right, but when they don't get it right, they really do work hard for lessons learned to get it right. And that's what you want your clients to say about you. If you think for a second that you're going to get everything right with your client and tick every box financially and operationally, you're in cuckoo land. It is all about, if there is an issue, then you communicate it, you lessons learned and address it. Your clients could be approved council suppliers. So what if you're delivering to a client and you're just looking at that client, and that client is a small client to you, right? They're not a tier 1 client. How do you define a tier 1 client if you don't actually know about them? If you don't actually know what their strategy is, you don't know about their network. What? Because they put a lot of money in your account, more so than the other person. Well, the other person might not have much of a network behind them. You may not have communicated well to them. So always think about, when you are talking to your clients, you're not just marketing to them, you're marketing through them, okay? Your clients will operate probably in similar target markets as you. So they'll have more exposure maybe to you. And guess what? The clients probably know the product you've sold them more than you, because you've created it, tried and tested it, marketed it and sold it. But has each member of your staff used it? Have you used it in earnest? Have you tried to break it? You might have tried to break it during your product development, but they're probably going to know the product more than you. They could connect you to your dream referral. What's the harm in, if you've got a good relationship with a client, just asking them if they can orchestrate a warm introduction to maybe someone that they know. Tell them the type of other target markets you're looking at and verticals. Your clients will attend trade shows. They could be bloody popular. They could have a superb sideline product. They have people at their stand. They can talk about you. Guess what? If you provide a really good service to them, you could stand next to them on the stand, okay, and have testimonials with them. I'm not going to do that if you just pick up the phone and try and sell, upsell, address issues and communicate them when it suits you. Your clients will probably attend networking events. You lot are all on the Chamber of Commerce, which I am. But they could attend networking events. They could be engaging with lots of people. Look at me, I'm sitting here giving a workshop. They could give workshops. So again, that's a big, wider network behind them. And they could be members of forums. They could be members of forums where issues are discussed, common challenges are discussed. And guess what? If there's somebody on that forum that is having a challenge or an issue and you provide a solution, they're going to refer you, aren't they? You simply do not know who knows who. I'm just aware of we're at time. So established, because I can go on, established strategically key client partnerships have a full product and service understanding with your clients. So they fully understand all of the products that you sell, all of the services, and don't just throw them a glossy, I mean, the amount of glossies I'm thrown, and they basically just get tossed aside. And if the company can't be bothered to tell me face to face, then I'm not going to sit there and read a book. Know your strategies, okay? Priorities, challenges, and objectives within your company, and pretty much try and identify your clients' strategies, priorities, challenges, and objectives. Okay, so go back to if you're talking to your client about what their 3-year strategy is, guess what? As a product developer within your business, you're learning where your client wants to be in 3 years' time. Product development isn't about you saying, oh, look, this is a good box of tricks. Why don't we build this, test this, market this, sell that? All of your products should be driven by demand. All of your products should be driven by your clients' strategies, their priorities, their challenges, and their objectives. There's only one way of finding that out, and that's including it in the communication plan that you have with your clients. Understand the touch points that you have with your client. So who within your business talks to a client? Okay, so the marketing people might do, the sales people might do, the operations director and the team might do, logistics might do to get boxes of tricks to them, your products. There's a whole raft of people that have touch points that engage with your clients, which brings me on to the next one. Have a client journey, a one-page journey that when you're interacting with prospects or you're talking to prospects that are turning into clients, they can see what that journey looks like with you. All of the benefits, all of the touch points, all of the communication. I'll tell you what, if someone come to me, a marketing person, salesperson, that gave me a really, not glossified, a really black and white, to the point, transparent client journey, pictorial, that told me what my journey would be with them. And then afterwards, you can modify the journey to what you've actually sold to the client and how they want to be communicated. I would more likely have a follow-up meeting with them. I will more likely remember them. Okay. Have a client communication plan, their plan. Okay. I'll tell you a story, a quick story. When me and the wife were looking for a venue, a wedding venue, we went to 8 different venues in one day. Okay. Bear with me with this. We went to 8 venues in one day, and 7 of them, we either turned up and it wasn't set up at all. So a blank room. Now, if you could just imagine, either we turned up and the person was already talking to someone else and not available. Either the room was flipping cold, okay, and I had no vision. I have no vision. The wife had vision. I had no vision, of course, and it wasn't my place to have a vision, probably. But it's 7 of them. One of them just gave me a glossy and went through, right, as option A, option B, option C, option D, like you're going to a greasy spoon cafe and you're picking your breakfast. One of them had absolutely no interest in what my wife, who had probably been visualizing getting married for about most of her life, what she wanted or I wanted, till we got to the last one. We got to the last one and we were met at the door by someone when we turned up. And that person wasn't the person we were meeting. The person that we were meeting was just finishing off a meeting, but made sure someone was at the front door to welcome, make sure we had tea and coffee, make sure we were sat down, make sure we were comfortable. When that person we were meeting sat down, they ordered us an afternoon tea, just scones and jam, because that's something that they do in their premises. So we sat there and we ate. They had a blank piece of paper, no glossies, and a pen, and said, we don't have glossies because everything's bespoke. Looked straight at my fiance and said, what's the day that you've been visioning, probably since a little girl? Talk to me about it. And we did. I got halfway through and said to her, this is the place. And I hadn't even gone round to look properly at the marquee or the venue. It was the communication. It was the blank piece of paper and the pen. It made us feel special. It made us feel kind of a tier 1 wedding couple. We were special. We had their full attention. So I went off on a tangent there, but it did then get me thinking more about I could see the journey, the wedding journey. I could see the communication plan. I felt so comfortable. Be consistent in everything that you say to a client. So that means getting, again, a communication plan through your organization to make sure that everybody is saying the same kind of things and doing the same kind of things with the client. The last thing you want to do is for them to pick up the phone when they've got an issue and report that, and someone tells them one thing, and then they end up having a call with the sales manager about what that issue is, or an account manager if you're an SME or larger, and for them to say something completely different. Make sure your staff are all in the know. Make sure that you have a central like repository kind of hub of information that your staff can make reference to when engaging with clients. Make someone accountable and responsible for it, and keep it updated. Encourage client feedback. You're not brilliant. You're not top of the range. No, you're not where nobody can take that business from you. So encourage client feedback. Okay, and make it structured and be seen to be acting upon it, not just a tick box to say you've done it. Honesty. Now, can we all be honest with our clients? Probably not 100% of the time, if I'm honest myself. But when it comes to honesty, you can't really get away from SLAs and key performance indicators, can you? But be honest in your business about what you can achieve. Don't let the salesperson run off and you've got a data network and you say that it's going to be up 99.999% of the time, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, when you know that you've had service outages and issues. So all you're going to do is sign a contract, throw it over to ops, who are then going to stand there stunned and struggle to deliver it, which means that staff morale goes down, clients are not interested in the upsell, and you start off on a bad footing. So make sure you're honest with your performance indicators and how you're being measured by your client. Quality assurance throughout. So make sure there's a quality assurance management plan throughout your business, which means that everything you do with suppliers and clients and internally is measurable, and that everyone is doing what they're supposed to do on the tin. So as I've said there, I've put honesty, I've said that. Transparency, I've said that. Please, please, please don't spin. Okay. For me, spin equals bin. I can't stand spin. We're not politicians, we're professionals. So don't spin, don't lie, don't try and get yourself out of a hole. If you put your hand up and say, yeah, we had a problem with that, we didn't communicate well, the service wasn't exactly as we would have expected, or more importantly, you expect it, be honest. You will find honesty will go a long way. So developing a supportive, structured framework for your clients, developing a professional relationship should encourage and incentivize clients to refer you to their wider network. If we go on to supply chain, do not forget your supply chain, well placed, and they are connected to a good number of other networks. So when it comes to supply chain, a few things for you to think about. They own or have a wider influential network. They've got clients just like you, and they could have clients that have an issue or a challenge. And the supplier, if integral in your business, and you engage with them and put a communication plan in place, will remember you and could refer you. Guess what? Free resource. They could be approved council suppliers, a bit like the clients. How do you know that your supply chain? Do you ever ask your supply chain if they tell you what kind of client base they have? Probably not, may not have thought about it, but get to know your supplier, right? Refine that supply chain so it's not just request, purchase order, delivery, invoice. It's a lot more than that. They operate probably in your target markets. If they're dealing with you, then they're dealing with a whole raft of companies in a similar market. They might be in another market that you actually want to penetrate. So why not use the supplier to see if they can orchestrate warm introductions? If you've got a dream referral, so particular company, particular name, particular vertical you want to work in, particular type of business you're looking for, why not engage with the supply chain and just advise them of that? You don't know. And behind the supply chain, the people that you're interacting with have their own network as well. Supply chain, attend trade shows, conferences. I mean, how many times have you gone to a trade show and then you've figured out that 3 or 4 people you've used in the past or you use now are standing there with a big, nice stand and they've got people around them? You know, if you haven't engaged with them properly and you haven't told them the type of other products and services that you provide, if you haven't interacted with them or made them integral into your business, how are they going to know or spot or identify or work with a window of opportunity that means a referral for you? You don't. They attend networking events themselves. Of course they do. So, you know, a big whole raft of networking now and opportunities. Again, members of forums, supply chain businesses always attend forums because they want to spot solutions or opportunities. But if it's something they can't provide and they see someone going on about a challenge they have, but they've remembered you and they're integral in your business and you've built a relationship with them, they might refer you. And also, not just for supply chain, but they have consultants who have other clients, probably not consultants that maybe work with them twice a month, once a month, 3 days a week, but they have other clients. And if you show their consultants what you can do and how professional you are, those consultants will take that away with them and probably talk to their wider network, which could be other clients. Again, you simply do not know who knows who. So establish that strategic partnership with your key suppliers, a full product and service understanding. Make sure you share that with your suppliers. Understand the touch points you have with suppliers. Establish a communication plan with your suppliers and always be consistent with your suppliers. So put there, to win in the marketplace, you must first win in the workplace. How bloody true is that? So I was thinking I might condense that into just one slide, which is a plan going forward, just taking a few of the highlights there. So something I found here, you don't build a business, you build people, and then people build the business, okay? So a plan going forward, this is just me picking out some nuggets from the last few slides. So first and foremost, ensure you listen to your staff, clients, and supply chain. Listen, 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 and be seen to be listening. I'll say that, probably most of you are switched off by now, but understand your staff, encourage and embrace feedback. They're on the front line. You might not be. So embrace feedback. Understand and acknowledge your wider network that's available to you and the free resource available to you. Establish a plan to engage with your wider network. Acknowledge, incentivize, develop and mentor your staff. Fully focus on staff appraisals. How many people just have an appraisal, sit there once a year talking to their boss about where they want to be, what they want to do, what they've done good, what they've done bad, all written down on a piece of paper. Sorry, you haven't been that great. We might not have supported you in that, might not have spoken about it for a year. The company's gone in a different direction, but you had this objective. You failed it. Oh, sorry, you haven't got a bonus now. And then work on appraisals. Appraisals should really happen. And when I've done appraisals with my staff, I had 16 engineers working for me. I spent 1/2 an hour with them a month to make sure they were on target. I didn't tell them how to do it, and that I was giving them exactly what they needed to achieve that target. If you set targets for your staff and they fail them, you failed. Your business has failed, not them. So to not give them a bonus or a pay rise or to belittle them because they haven't actually achieved an objective is pretty much like reprimanding a chef that hasn't got a kitchen and hasn't got ingredients and they haven't cooked a meal. Establish key integral partnerships with your clients and supply chain. Fully understand your clients and your supply chain, their strategies and their challenges. Assume they're going to be with you in 3 years' time. Assume they're going to want to upsell with you, but they are going to upsell with what they want. If you don't understand their strategy over 3 years, how the bloody hell are you going to know what they want and why they need it? And you can actually craft what they need to offer them something better. So, you know, you're next to them, you're going through their journey with them. A full communication plan in place for staff, clients, and supply chain, being consistent. And ensure accountability and responsibility within your organization is crystal clear at all times. And support people in that accountability and responsibility to make sure it's clear and delivered. So another thought for the day here, the biggest communication problem we have is we do not listen to understand, we listen to reply. And on that, I've banged on enough. Thank you for your time. As I said, that is just my opinions over 25 years, what I've seen, what I do like and what I don't like. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. I don't know if we can all give a little like virtual round of applause. That was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions at all? Feel free to ask in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourselves if you do. Just trying to check the chat. Okay, I'll wait and see if any come through. But thank you, that really was brilliant.
No
I'm
problem.
such a strong believer that, communication is key. And that's so much of what I'm getting through from the conversation. Word of mouth is so important as well. So that was brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thanks all.
If I can quickly, just before everybody goes, just got a few slides to show you guys. Just a few upcoming webinars that we've got from the Chamber. So on this Thursday, we actually have a LinkedIn workshop, which will be 10:30 to 11:15.